Tell us your full name.
Charlton, Hardin, Hardin, middle name, Blanks with an S, Blanks.
Now, is Hardin for the Hardin family of Chester?
After my mama was, she was a Hardin thing after her. And they were raised right down here in the old home place.
Down at the end of this road?
Well, on further down at that time, they had an with the kitchen outside,
Right.
and it caught fire and it burned down. And so then they built a place up where it is now on top of the hill, and it burned down.
No.
Well, they didn't have fire trucks or nothing like that then.
Right.
And they built back, and that's what it is now. Yeah.
Now, where are we specifically? We're on Ridgeview Road. What off of? What do we turn
Highway
off?
9.
Off Highway 9. Okay.
Yeah.
What is this community called? Or was it a community?
Wasn't really a community.
Okay.
No, just Ridgeview Road.
Ridgeview Road.
1654.
All right. In Chester, South Carolina.
Good old Chester.
All right. What is your birthday?
3 February 1938.
And what is today?
Today is Friday.
July the 21st, 2023.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. You go ahead. You lead questions. I'm just recording and
Okay.
and I'll work the story from that basically.
All right.
What we want to talk about is we want to talk about your military service. You know what? You remember when Cole did that interview with you for the Smithsonian thing? Well, we talked about your life and your work and so on and so forth. We didn't get a whole lot into your military service, and I think that's kind of what the angle of these interviews are. Is want to talk a little bit about your military service.
So this thing here is going to be where I do.
Okay. This is for the Veterans History Project through Winthrop University.
I've done that before, but you said it didn't
And
take.
she sent you that letter that said that the interview of 2005, the file somehow wasn't able to be opened, and they couldn't make the transcripts.
Okay.
You asked us to re-interview you,
Oh, okay.
and that's why we're
that was
repeating it.
before. That was before my time,
It
obviously.
was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And but we do remember from your interview with the way we work with the Smithsonian Institute that you grew up here in Chester County, went to Chester High School.
As a lad, yes.
Did you graduate?
Yeah, I did.
When was that? What year?
56.
56. And then where did you go?
Well, I went to college after that.
At?
Well, I went to Clemson first, and then I transferred later to University of South Carolina.
Okay.
I found a good school.
Okay. And when did you graduate South Carolina?
61.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then tell us about briefly what you
Back up
did.
so when you were at Clemson, that was still it was Clemson College then, right? It was and you obviously, did you do any ROTC or any military?
Yeah, I
everything
did.
was military at that point, right?
A&M.
Right.
Agricultural
Agricultural
military.
mechanical.
I
Yep.
think it was the last year that they did that.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and
Were you in Pershing Rifles by any chance?
I was.
You were.
Yeah.
What is it
Okay.
called?
Pershing Rifles,
We did.
Company C4 then, right?
Yeah, we went different places, and did the Queen Anne salute and all that stuff
Oh, yes,
with
sir.
our rifles.
I was an honorary member of the regimental headquarters company.
Well, now,
Yeah, sure enough. Yeah.
damn honor, wasn't it?
Now, no ROTC in school, but college.
Well, I don't think we had our
We didn't, did we?
college, no.
Right.
I mean,
School.
But it was a military. Clemson was a military
It was.
themed school at the time. So yeah. So he was in uniform. Yeah. Yeah.
And your, what did you do from back in the way we worked, if I can go back just a little bit? What kind of jobs did you do? Did you work on the farm before the military?
yes.
Okay, so you worked
I
on the
had,
farm.
Yeah, there's my brothers right there. I had a twin brother, Carlton. Of course, I'm Charlton.
Yeah.
neither one, and my older brother Robert, neither one of them cared much for farming. But I did. I took, with the Future Farmers of America, FFA. I took that a couple of years, and I didn't have anything, so I bought some cows. Oh, I had all kind of livestock, chickens, for eggs. I really got into it, That's before I went into, of course, the college.
Right.
And and then when I graduated in '56 from high school, they still had the draft on.
Yes, sir.
And I joined. That's when I joined the ROTC. Marine Corps. I don't know what they call it.
Reserve?
Well, when you join up and sign your name, they put you down as a PFC. Okay, so I was a PFC for until I went through the officer candidate school.
Oh, okay.
And I don't want to get ahead of myself, but anyway.
What made you choose Marines? Did you have a choice back then, or was it just a Marine school?
No, I had a choice. Macho, I guess.
Okay.
I had a friend that was in the Marine Corps, Donald Boulware, out on West End.
What's his name?
Donald Boulware. He was my brother-in-law. See, I was married to his sister. And he went into the Marine Corps, and his father died. So he got out on a hardship discharge because he was the only male in the family.
Right.
But he talked about the Marine Corps and everything. And I just took to it, all services are good, patriotic, everything, but we all have a little,
We do.
Yeah,
We
Army,
do.
Air Force, Navy, and so forth. Yeah, because crap, if it wasn't for the Air Force, I'd be dead right now. Up that caisson, and they big old B-52 bombers.
Right.
Dropping those 250 and 500-pound bombs.
Right.
See, they were. Caisson was an enclave. It's sort of like Din Bin Phu.
Right. Right.
And I said, Johnson said, I don't know more Din Bin Phus. Y'all make sure he doesn't get overrun. So they started bombing. I guess it was like they did during the Revolution time. They dig these trenches, and then they keep coming up closer, digging the trenches, and then they got so that they could. The last one was the one close enough where they could get up and rush the compound. But those B-52s, they saved us.
Yeah.
They really did, because they just we used to call them
Carpet bombing.
Carpet bombing, yeah.
Yes, sir.
And they would we'd sit there on the sandbags and watch them, and we'd way down here and you go,
Yep.
and
A whole stick of bombs coming down.
and you don't maybe how many of them killed them, just thousands of the North Vietnamese.
Yep.
In fact, we had a guy that was up there on the sandbags watching all that. Always was behind the sandbags, because I don't know how far you could go, but the big old 500 bomb could throw shrapnel way out there, and it hit him and killed him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Sounds like he was a forward observer. That's kind of, that really dangerous job. So where did you do your basic training? Did you do Paris Island, or?
No, Quantico.
Oh, you're Quantico, really? Okay. Wow. Okay.
I did Quantico, Virginia.
And and so once you finished your basic training, where would you ship out to first? Where did they send you, and what unit did you end up with?
I went out to California, okay, going out to California at, what's that place out there?
San Diego?
29 Palms.
Oh, no, on the coast.
Pendleton?
San Diego.
Pendleton.
Pendleton.
Pendleton, he sent me out there as an infantry officer. And my first unit was 1st Battalion, 5th Marines.
Okay.
There's only 2 regiments in the Marine Corps that carry the little fourragère, they call it.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And the 5th Marines were one of the regiments, right? And the other regiment was this, I think, maybe the 6th Marines. But anyway, I got out there in the 5th Marines, okay, and we stayed there to go through training. Now, I'd already been to boot camp or whatever you call it at Quantico.
Right.
We stayed through what they called it lock on. You lock on and you spent a lot of time in the boonies and so forth. And
You were getting jungle training basically.
yes,
from
that
beginning.
too, yes,
Yeah.
yes, sir. And would come back maybe once a week or something like that, and then go back out. And we were, well, the bottom line was that back in those days, you were trained it as one unit, 1st Battalion, 5th Marine, one regiment, okay? And when you went back over to Vietnam, it was a good deal because you knew everybody in the regiment because you trained with them.
Right.
I had a weapons platoon, and I knew every one of them. And that's what one thing screwed us up. They started drafting them. They started putting them in. They didn't know each other. They didn't know what their capabilities were in the thing.
Right.
And they started piecemealing them in rather than, that. The old Gulf of Tonkin. It's when Johnson, I think, it wasn't called war, but he used Maddox and Turner Joy, North Vietnamese torpedo. Excuse me, my brain doesn't
All right,
always
you're
work.
good. You're doing good.
He used them as excuse to start, bending more and more American soldiers, and they wrote there. Yeah, Madison did. I remember.
A Marine is an infantryman first, but what was your specialty outside being an infantryman? Were you
my secondary MOS was intelligence.
Really? Okay.
Right. And they had to, when I was at Camp Pendleton, they cut orders for me, and I got a little trailer, U-Haul trailer behind my car, and I went all the way across the country because I was going to go to Fort Holabird in Maryland for intelligence training. And that was a mess because I'd already sent my wife back earlier.
I was going to ask you if you were married at this time.
Yeah, and her father died, so she went on back, and I said, well, when my orders are cut, I'll meet you back there at home. And I did, picked her up, went on up to Baltimore, Fort Butler. I don't know if they still got it, Fort. Holabird.
Now, where's that at in Maryland?
Well, it's in Baltimore.
Oh, in Baltimore. I'm
Right.
sorry. And that's where the intel training is done for officers in the Marines. Okay? All right. Now, when did you get married?
Roxanne?
It's okay. But just tell me this. At Clemson, South Carolina? back here at home
Yeah,
in Chester.
in Chester.
Okay.
Well,
Got
yeah.
married in Chester.
Out there, Bear Branch.
Bear Branch.
Yeah.
Okay.
You were married before you were enlisted, right?
No.
No.
But you came home to get married.
Yeah,
Okay.
Gotcha.
and
Did you have a military
No.
marriage,
It-
wedding with the big sail sword?
no, we didn't do that.
Okay.
But yeah, we got in. I had an old Cadillac. Still had the fins on the back.
Oh,
I guess
really?
the last time they did that was
57, 50,
Probably something like
58, somewhere.
we thought.
About the 60s, they started changing them.
Yeah, we threw everything we did in there,
In that car.
clothes and everything else, and took off across the country.
Awesome.
Yeah, and
She from Chester?
yes,
Okay.
You got-
Chester girl.
yes,
What was her name?
Patricia Boulware. I'm still good friends with her brother.
Good.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm still good friends with her, even though we divorced.
Okay.
'Cause,
Oh,
you
she's
know-
still living.
Yes,
I didn't know that.
yeah, Patricia Boulware. And
Okay, so you're at Pendleton, and the next stop for you is in country.
that from Pendleton,
From Pendleton?
or the lock-on training
Right.
out there.
Right.
And then we went over as a unit, as I told you, and we got on, the Army had more ships than the Navy. We got on, was it HMAN, something like that. And we went over as a unit on a ship, on an
Right.
Army ship. And we went into Okinawa first.
Oh, wow. Okay.
On the way over there, John Kennedy was assassinated.
Wow.
So we're in 64.
Yes, that's right. And we docked there at Okinawa. Well, we went to Japan first,
Right.
and then we went on down to Okinawa,
Mhm.
and that's where we debarked our unit, and they put us in the big trucks and want us on all the way to northern part of Okinawa, way up there, Camp Schwab.
Okay.
Mean F a there middle of water. I think he was a lieutenant.
Oh, okay.
Lost his life in the Second World War.
Okay.
Name it. And we did our training again on Okinawa. I went up to the jungles.
Mhm.
Did a lot, like you said, did a lot of jungle thing and everything.
Right.
Told us all about, well, what to expect when you go over there. You know, Malaysian swinging gate. You go and trip something and these big old things.
Right. Right. Punji sticks and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff.
Or
Yeah.
Yep.
you
Yep.
step in it, they got it step in, you step in it, and you goes all the way through your boots. They told me that they really didn't want to kill you. It tore more them for wounded to
Mhm.
care of than it is to kill you.
Right.
So they wanted to maim you, and so we were up there, and then we came back from Northern Training Area, and then it was almost time to get on the ship and go overseas. Yeah, went overseas, stopped in Hawaii, a little R&R, but not much, and then got back on the ship and went on over to what was it? Was it Asaki? Anyway, it was Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Iwakuni? I can't remember. now.
Osaka or Yokosuka? One of the
Yeah.
two.
And first time I'd had sake.
Oh.
And what did you think about that?
I didn't quite like it. But
It's a bit like moonshine.
yeah, white, you know, rice wine, I think is what they call it.
Yep. Yep.
So, and then we got orders to go into Vietnam. And the first thing was like I was telling you about we just rolled, the ship just kept going in a dangle, you know, like that in circles. And I must have stayed afloat in that situation for almost 2 months.
Really?
We got nourishment, you know, the supply ships would come up, and back in those days, they had the old, was it the bosun thing where you tied one to the old?
Yeah, captain's chair. Or,
yes,
yeah, captain,
right.
or bosun's sling, yeah. Yep.
And that's how we got desupplied.
Wow. So y'all were stuck on the ship while they were circling, while they were steaming around. You hadn't actually made landfall yet.
Not yet, yeah.
Oh, wow, for about 2 months.
Why were you out there for 2 months? Were they waiting on something?
Well, things were getting hot,
Yeah,
you know, and
they had to make sure it was a secure landing.
see, we were called the landing team. We were the spearhead, sort of, for if anything started getting bad.
Right.
And that's during that time is when the North Vietnamese came to Maddox and Turner Joy and supposedly shot at some of our boats, our ships. And that's when he used, the President Johnson used that as an excuse to start elevating things. My first job over there was an aider, was a what you call it? I was attached to a Vietnamese, South Vietnamese, and didn't even have any weapon with me. It wasn't true, but
Really?
I stayed with them, and
Like an advisor.
yeah, yes, that's right.
Wow.
And then I came off of that, went back to the ship, and where did we go then? I can't remember. But
What kind of intelligence did you deal with? Did you have agents in place, or did you deal with photographic evidence, or what kind of what sort of intelligence product did you have that you were dealing with?
yeah, it was mostly not strategic, not the big hill.
Brian, just let me stick through right quick.
You know, Brian.
Yeah.
It was tactical
Okay.
intelligence. We could pick them up. We had radio battalions, we called them, and they could monitor the Vietnamese thing, and so it was mostly just tactical.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right.
Small unit
Yes.
intelligence and stuff.
Did you say you were like in an underground radar site, or am I putting us ahead too far? Because we're still on the boat at this time, right? Okay, well, let's just talk about, we're circling out in the ocean waiting for things to get ready.
Gulf of Tonkin.
Gulf of Tonkin, okay.
Tonkin? Well, you probably know that, but anyway. Yep.
And then you finally landed.
From the ship. Yep.
Now, did you do a beach landing?
Yeah. Vietnamese girls were there with the, so like Hawaii, you had some lays around their neck, paid them. We thought, we went in there, we're gonna, man, it's gonna be, this is a big, sort of like World War, so like
Omaha Beach.
Omaha Beach.
Yeah.
And there they were.
Didn't quite turn out the same way then.
No,
You were met by the B girls. Okay.
That's right. And then we were trucked on up to Da Nang.
Da Nang. Wow.
Yeah. And then went on up the
Ho Chi Minh Trail. The Ho Chi Minh Trail.
yeah. And
Yeah, I know my Vietnam.
You did.
all the way up to Camp Schwab,
Right.
you know. And that's where we did some more training. And we were still the ones at the battalion landing team. When that Maddox and Turner Joy were attacked, we were in the Philippines at the time, you know, doing happy games. And I think it was almost 24 hours. We had the whole battalion attached with 105s and 155s and the tanks and everything else. We called it the battalion landing team.
Right.
Because we were the tip of the spear at the time, first one that was deployed. And they call it backloading. We got all aboard the ships again and took off up there to,
The location you were going to.
yeah, and that's Roxanne, that's when we started doing the, you know, the oval or whatever,
Oh, the circle, yeah,
yeah. And didn't,
holding pattern.
yeah, we didn't see anything for that Derek a time, you know. We had one guy got a back appendicitis aboard ship.
Oh wow. Okay.
So they packed him in ice. And when what's it called, the two ships next to
You're
each other,
right. Yeah, the captain's lane.
yeah, we sent him over
Wow. Okay.
to that ship.
To the whatever the supply ship was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we had doctors but no surgeons.
Oh. Okay.
That's what the Marine Corps uses. We call out medics socks, you know, short for doctors.
Right.
Let's see. And where am I at now?
You're still circling 2 months out in the ocean.
Right.
What happened after that?
That's when we went ashore.
Ashore.
We went ashore because of the dot in Madagascar. The torpedo boats from North Vietnam came down, and Johnson and his folks said, "Well, that's not a war, but it's stuff help for him to start beefing up the draft and all that kind of stuff." It is an excuse, I think.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
That's what I've heard anyway. And after that, we did go ashore at Okinawa.
Okay.
And then they, like I say, they trucked us on up to Da Nang.
Right.
And then I did a lot of locking in Okinawa. I'd go all the way from the DMZ at Dong Ha, Quezon, and all that, all the way down. I never got down to the south where Saigon was, but I got almost everything, you know, up north.
From the DMZ all the way down
Yes.
to what? You said Quezon, is that like the bottom?
No, Quezon was right on the DMZ.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You said a couple more.
Lord have mercy.
And when you said you did a lot of logging, you didn't mean cutting down pine trees, right? Because I got to clear this up.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, okay, he's out there in Vietnam cutting down pine trees.
No.
What were you doing? What is logging?
Logging,
Uh-huh.
it's just hugging the trees, you know, putting them on the trucks.
But what were you doing in Vietnam from the DMZ down to Quezon?
I was still two things. I was either an infantry officer or the tactical intelligence.
And so you were out in these areas
Yeah,
doing surveillance.
yeah.
Okay.
Did you see any action yourself? Did you get under fire in any particular place?
Quezon.
In Quezon, you did.
Quezon,
Yeah, yeah.
Because they bombed that almost every day.
Right. What was that like? Your first experience with actual combat?
It was a little nerve-wracking because there's so many of them. They just almost every 10 minutes, 15 minutes, it comes around, it explodes.
Right.
And at one time, they tell me that was they had this hooches above ground, and then they had to do away with that
Right.
because of the artillery coming in and
Sure.
started going in underground.
Yeah. It's popularized as the siege of Quezon because you guys were basically in Quezon. You were surrounded by Hardin.
Yes.
And that by Charlie and all that
Yes,
stuff. And
that's correct.
so it was like a seed. Did you experience any small arms fire? Were you out with any patrols anywhere where you got into any firefights, or where the unit you were with got into firefights?
Yeah, the only patrols I had was I was also a communications infantry, and intelligence, and then communications.
Right.
And I got shot at a couple of times because I heard them go by.
Right.
But
you never experienced that? Well, you probably experienced some live fire during basic training, I guess, but this was in actual, honest to goodness, right in the middle of the war.
Yeah.
So what was that like?
Daddy.
it was a little unnerving. Yeah.
You okay?
Who's that?
I have no clue.
Checking to see.
So you did experience some small arms fire?
Oh yeah, been intelligence
Yes, sir.
at one time. We had to go to where we could host so that the best rock, my best radio communications, where it was, the higher ends or whatever, and we had to take a machete or whatever and go through the boonies.
You had to clear it. You had to get the good spot where you
Yes.
could actually broadcast.
Exactly.
The signals real well. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. And that's when I saw it mostly the Agent
Agent Orange.
Agent
When they
Orange.
used Agent Orange on the.
Yeah, we woke out and through the boonies, and I remember one time I'd hook up, and you know what a 123 is? C-123, smaller
Starlifter, right? Isn't it?
I think so.
smaller type thing than the 130. Anyway, and I look up there,
730 is a Starlifter.
and it had three in formation. So it was spearhead formation.
Right, right.
And they were spraying,
Spraying the Agent Orange, yeah.
and we'd say, "Golly, thank God,"
Oh.
not knowing at the time the danger of it. But we knew if we kept the vegetation away, they couldn't sneak up on us.
Right. It was used for deforestation, basically to cut the trees, to bring the brush and all that, and
Exactly.
because the Viet Cong would be able to hide inside of those bushes and stuff. Yeah.
Exactly.
Did y'all, unbeknownst, y'all breathed in the fumes from the Agent Orange, but I guess you probably had your gas mask on or something, or you were in some kind of, were you some kind of shelter when you knew they were flying over to?
We didn't detain you as a danger.
Oh, really?
Right.
Okay, I got
No.
you.
We fed a friend.
Did
you
it
know.
actually,
I'm
was
sorry
it
to keep butting
orange?
through.
No, it wasn't orange. But I don't. Somebody told me why I was Agent Orange.
I think the tanks were orange, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay,
It's what?
I
But-
think the tanks were orange. The tanks that it came in was
but
orange.
falling from the plane, it didn't
I don't think it was
appear
orange. No,
Okay.
yeah.
But and then about that time is when they closed the post that I was at Quezon. It closed it down. No more threats or anything, and we moved a little bit south of that, still in the boonies, what we call NZ Stud, and that's where we put the new command center
Okay.
there, and stayed there. When did I leave there? But you talking about getting wounded or whatever, the worst thing I think probably that hit to me was I was going from one of the the ground. In fact, it was an Air Force
Air Force base or landing area?
yeah, I huddled one down and all the bags on top of it. It was the best one up there. Air Force knows how to live.
They do, they do.
And we y'all held me for getting more brain.
You're doing good.
Where was I?
You were.
You're talking about the only time that you got close to getting wounded.
Oh, yeah. This was at night, and we had another unit up there. I was in the 3rd Battalion. We had a unit that was able to, what they call it an ASRAT, Air Support Radar Team, about four Marines. We were underground too. And our job was, we could, bad weather, or dark time, we could lock on to whatever plane was coming for our ordnance, and we'd actually fly the plane from the ground.
Oh wow, okay.
And know where we wanted to drop the plane.
Where you're dropping the ordnance, yeah.
Yes, right. And I was on the way up there. At night, I thought that might be in a good shape, but I guess they had nighttime graduals too. I don't know.
Right.
But I was about halfway up to the new place that I was going, and started rounds. I guess they lit 4 hours a day. I don't know, 4 hours a day. Anyway, here come the rounds right behind me. And I'd been up there before, and there was a trench there, and Brown was so close to me, I dove for the trench.
Wow, okay.
And it had been made deeper.
Right.
And I didn't know it at the time.
Oh,
no.
Wow.
And I came down, and I thought I'd broke my leg, really, because I couldn't hardly walk on it. And but I weighed on it bad time, I guess. And I hobbled on up to where I was going, to one of the teams. There was a radio teams.
Right.
And then went by sick bay, and they did nothing but just wrap it, my ankle.
Oh, you're a Marine.
Yes, that's right. And it's like,
If you're not dead, keep going.
that's right. Got that done.
What level of uniform? What did you wear as far as your uniform? Did you like to rip the sleeves out of your blouse when you were over there, or?
You tell the picture that I showed you.
There we go.
Yeah, that's
That
something
looks like
that.
fatigues to me.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So yeah. Oh man, look at that. You smoking a cigarillo in that?
I was tacked on them. They said I was really bad at pie situation if I didn't get my Swisher Sweets.
Swisher Sweets.
Swisher
My daddy
Sweets.
smoked
I
them till
figured
he
that.
died.
Okay. Yep.
They made a good deal to keep me supplied in them.
Did you have any friends from back in those times that that you maintained connection with when you came back home?
I wanted to forget everything, so I didn't.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, I just wanted to put it all behind me.
Right.
Understand that?
Now, where do you think this picture is made in? We can say the country of Vietnam,
Yeah,
but you're a first lieutenant.
that was my first tour over there.
First tour?
I had 3 tours over there.
Oh, that was going to be my other question. You had 3 tours. Okay.
And you were a first lieutenant,
Yeah,
or
at that time
just-
I think it was.
Yep. Same with the dress uniform here.
Yeah.
okay. And then that was probably about what year?
Where was that one taken? Where were you when that one was taken?
We were on a search and patrol, so I think that was probably around Dong Ha or somewhere like
Dong
that.
Ha.
Up north.
Right.
All the Marines were in I Corps.
I got you.
All the Marines were north. Okay, from Da Nang all the way up.
Okay.
We had to play. I think I told Ryan we had to do the 13-month tour, and the Army
64.
and the Army did 12-month tour, and of course they needed to add another Marine month,
Yep.
How are we doing on time?
It's 2:49. We're doing pretty good.
Okay. We've done the first tour, and I just asked you about friends. Did you make any friends on any of your tours in Vietnam that you stayed in touch with later on in life?
Maybe Babbage,
Okay.
but he was killed over there.
Okay.
And
Where was he from? Do you remember?
where was he from?
Or what made him special?
He was a pilot, and I just befriended him. We did have little hoochies, with officer clubs, and they had their club, and go in there and drink beer, tell lies, and everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he
Pilot of what?
A4.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So like
A4's a Phantom.
yeah.
Is it a early Phantom? An A4's a Phantom jet? Is it a fighter pilot?
It wasn't a Phantom. It was. I said A4.
Yeah.
It was the
It would have been F4, but anyway, yeah.
smaller brother.
Okay.
We'll find it. I'm not real good on
Starfire,
that.
maybe? I think what was flying around there at that time.
So you did 3 tours in Vietnam. Can I?
Counting the first one that I told you about as an advisor. Came back. That was 64, was it? 64
Yes,
something?
that was.
Came back in 67.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you go home between tours, or did you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, wow.
Thank God. And that went back in 1968.
Wow.
Just over there in time for Tet.
Right.
You remember Tet?
Tet Offensive,
That's when
yes.
the Vietnamese, it was supposed to have been a thing like our holiday, and that was supposed to be their holiday. And they broke it. That's when they started coming in to all of the bases and sending those down.
Overran them. Yeah, sure enough.
But we beat that back, and they say we killed a whole lot of them. Then from that tour, 1968 tour, I think I was sent at the Pentagon.
Okay.
68.
What you doing in
69,
Pentagon?
70, I think. 1970, I was up in Washington.
Okay.
Able to take my family with me. Springfield, Virginia is where
What were you doing at the Pentagon?
I was, again, intelligence.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Had all them high deputy clearances, That's one reason why when I was in Germany later on, they wouldn't let me go up to Berlin in that area as because of the clearances that I had.
Right, because the stuff you knew.
Didn't know much, but they wouldn't know that.
Right.
When did they finally release you from, like I know that when you got out, they told you as intelligence officers that you could tell no one, you could talk to no one
talk to
about
anybody
it.
about anything.
Wasn't it about 50 years that you swore you'd keep those secrets?
It was something like that.
It was a length of time.
Yeah.
All right, where else did you go besides Vietnam 3 times, Germany?
Yeah. Well, when I was in Vietnam, we did the ship thing, in the Philippines and Japan.
His third tour was in the Pentagon.
Hong Kong was American at the not British. So we got to go into Hong Kong.
Got to go Hong Kong.
You did? Okay.
Yeah, I got drunk one time myself.
Just one?
Yeah. And they went over to the mainland. They called it not Sin City. They call it what was it?
Mainland China?
Yeah. Anyway, I was a big tall one, and the rest of them was down the rail. But I can't lie to you. I can't remember a lot about it.
Do you remember? Can you tell me what medals you were awarded?
Uh,
What citation?
yeah, I got a picture here somewhere of them.
And while
Now,
we're
Brian.
looking for that, while you were in Vietnam, especially, were you corresponding with your family? Your
Not-
wife?
Let me get through.
Not a lot, but I was. We had
Okay.
what we call ham radios, HO, high frequency.
I've got those for him.
Well, that was the 3 tours I was over there.
64, 68, and 73. No, 75.
75 is when we occupied,
When Saigon.
evacuated Saigon.
Thank you.
I don't know enough.
You
of
don't
them
know
to
where
what-
his medals are, do you? Or
Debbie's in there.
Debbie's finding them. Okay.
Figured out
But
the
you
hand.
you had a ham radio. So did you actually?
Yeah, it was, I call it high frequency.
Mhm.
So you had to do like over, you know, how you doing, honey? Do over,
Right.
and they'd talk back. And Patricia, my wife at the time, told me that my daughter, Mary Beth,
Uh-huh.
she's just a little tot then, you know. The voice kind of made you sound like because it wasn't clear at that time. It was HF, and she thought I was calling from heaven. Yeah.
Really?
Uh-huh. And
So you actually got to call home.
yeah, once in a while, yes.
Wow.
Not like they are now. Now they want to call
Everybody has
somebody.
their cell phones.
Yeah. And making pictures of them, you know.
Yeah, sure enough.
So you have one daughter, Mary Beth,
And one son,
one son,
William.
William. Okay.
And these are the ones that fly up here on the hill.
They live up here.
Yeah, so home place, that was our raised.
What would you think of your 3 tours? What would you think of as the most memorable thing? Obviously, being in Quezon would be one of them.
Yeah.
But what would be your most memorable thing of your 3 tours that you can think of? What comes to your mind when you think about your service?
Tell you the truth, Ryan, I kind of walked it over there as far as garrison, because I felt like I was accomplishing something, you know. And
Which one was that, Major?
oh, there's my right before I got retired. I guess those medals right there.
Okay. Wow.
But
Yeah. The highest one was when I was at Germany, Stuttgart, Germany.
Stuttgart.
And I was attached to again, kind of a snoopy poop. They call it the DCA, Defense. It had its own unit now. It's a defense.
Like criminal investigation or DCA.
DCA,
Okay.
Defense.
That one looks like it's got a V on it.
It
doesn't
does, yeah.
Yeah,
That
Or
might
the V
be-
device, yep. That's
yeah.
I think that's the Vietnam medal, but I'm not sure. I have to look them up,
Okay.
see what they are. Yeah. Bronze Star, Silver Star.
No, the highest one was the one you saw at the end there.
Right.
That's the one that.
The one
You
with the
usually put them on the highest one goes on the top, right? Usually
right, top left.
top, closest to the heart, I think. if I remember correctly.
I'm gonna run. I'll see you later.
You going home?
Yes, sir.
You're not coming back?
Not today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe tomorrow?
Probably
By-
tomorrow.
By play of the year.
Yes, sir.
All right.
All right.
On my list, it's by.
See you, Wendy.
Good to see you. Good to see
Good
you.
to see you too.
How do you think?
Love
your-
you, Major.
Take care now. Love you too.
How do you think your wartime experiences affected your life?
I guess it, tell you the truth, it made me fearless. Really, I used to be really scared of heights. I
Right,
mean, just,
right.
yeah, got over there. Now this is at Quantico. Went through what they call the obstacle courses and stuff like that, and you had to get up a fence pole, you know,
Right.
and it was probably big, as tall as some of these out here.
Right. Right.
And I had to go up that and get to the top, and then you had to go back down. You didn't have any steps or anything that you just had to hold whatever you could, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that kind of made me non-healthy. I mean, for dimps.
Right.
You just to this day I don't fear heights.
Right.
That's what changed me, right? But before that, I just was really scared to get up
Right.
any height. So that's probably one reason why I'm so screwed up now, because I remember.
You're not afraid of anything.
That's about it. I remember, I told Roxy this, I remember rocks on my barn, and the ladder slipped and I fell. About from there to here, and landed straight on my back.
Mm-hmm.
My glasses were way over there, and I jacked a big old horn in my leg.
Yeah.
But I thought I was just, not going to be able to make it. But I laid there a while, and I guess what is it? It keeps you pumped when you're adrenaline popped in.
Mm-hmm.
So I jumped in my car, it was a truck at the time, drove myself to the emergency room.
Wow. Okay.
And they get you over there, and they wanted to know my X-ray, if
Yeah.
I'd messed something up. And I couldn't get off the gurney.
Mm.
That's a bad feeling. I could not, as much as I had, I could not move.
Right.
I guess the adrenaline had already gone with it.
Yeah, pretty much. Your muscles locked up and all that.
And that was a bad feeling.
Your military service gave you appreciation for veterans because you were the veteran service officer.
It did.
For Chester County, and
It did.
you could kind of relate to everything that the veterans were going through because you've been through it yourself.
Right.
He was a veteran service officer?
No, I wasn't. That was Judy McWater.
It's always been Judy.
Yeah.
I thought you were in that office, but that was just my impression.
He was commander of the VFW.
Yeah.
He was also with the DAV. And were you one of the commandants of the Marine Corps League?
That's said man's in charge.
Okay.
I was commandant for American Legion.
American Legion.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you were a charter.
Okay.
You're a charter member of the Marine Corps League.
Yes.
Okay.
You were a state commander
Okay,
too?
I did not know that.
Were you? Did you ever go to the state level with the American Legion or the VFW?
Went to the one below the state. I went to all the states conferences and everything.
Right.
What did you do? What did you do for a profession after you mustered out of the service?
I taught school.
Ah, okay. What did you teach?
Science. I taught science with 8th graders, physical science and everything. And then with my seniors, I taught physics.
Physics.
Chester Middle or Chester High School or?
Same one I graduated
Oh
from.
wow. Okay. Wow. That's neat. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And I tell you, Brian, when I graduated, in '56, teachers were still kind of
Yeah.
You didn't back
Right.
and so like.
You didn't sass them.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely.
And when I went back, I had a master's degree, but I couldn't teach school
Mm-hmm.
because of all the other things. I got a best degree in baccalaureate in science,
Mm-hmm.
but that didn't tell me a child had, you know, all the punches that I had to get punched in order to teach school.
Yeah.
Music a situation, hydro, the children, whatever, you know, and all that. But I didn't use it. That's back then that you had to check the boxes.
Right. Right.
So there I was, had just retired, 40, what was it when I retired? Anyway, I was up in my 40s, around all these kids. They were getting their head cases too. That that was something else. It just wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I was not, especially in the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
Vessel, you know, you think your discipline, you know, in the Marine Corps.
School was slight, and especially in the 70s, was slightly different than that.
Yes. Yeah.
It was starting to get a little bit more permissive than it had been when you and I were going through school.
Right.
Yeah, sure enough, absolutely. Did you suffer from PTSD, or did you? Of course, they didn't call it that back then, but did you have you had bouts of that, or you had a period of that? Okay. How did you adjust to that? How did you overcome that?
Well, I got medication on it for one thing.
Okay.
And I guess the further away from it, you know,
Right.
the more I don't have somebody anymore on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, PTSD. Where was I?
Well, I was wondering, what message would you like to leave for future generations who will view or hear this interview?
I'd like for it to help my fellow veterans. Some of my experiences were able to help them, you know, and because that's what that was really the key thing that kept me going. I started the Memorial Day.
The memorial service. Observance. Yeah.
And the
Veterans Day.
Veterans Day service.
Right.
They weren't having one when you started them?
Just like the last one, it was just sort of a bang dang thing, you know. And I tried to jazz it up some. One thing I wanted to do is make sure that the air children, as many as I can beat. I like the band there, you know.
Yeah.
And just as many
And
as I can.
ROTC?
Yeah, as many as I can to, you know, get
That
them.
was your focus.
So that they learn about it and remember it, and it's important.
Maybe understand it.
Understand it a little bit more. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we have you to thank for
We do.
the services, the observances, the way they are now. That's why your name's always attached to it.
Absolutely.
That's why I thought he was a veteran service officer. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, he might have been the unpaid veteran service
Really.
officer. So, you have 2 children. Do you have any grandchildren? One?
Girl, that's William's daughter.
William's daughter?
Yeah, William's daughter.
Is that her picture?
Yes.
Okay. And what's her name?
Ariel, how you spell it?
Ariel, like in the movie.
Yeah,
Okay, that's cool.
Ariel. She is living in Rock Hill now. She got a job, and she seems to like it.
Good.
Yeah, so good.
Is there anything we didn't cover, because Brian's on a time limit here?
Oh, okay.
Is there anything we didn't cover in this interview that you think is important to go in this interview? And let me explain what's going to happen to the interview. I'm going to type it up, and then I'm going to bring it back and let you look at it and make sure that I said what you intended to say. And then we'll give it to Gina White at the Winthrop Archives, and she'll have a student go over everything, and then it'll be loaded not only on Winthrop's website, but also on Library of Congress.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I know Gina. She.
you know Gina and she knows you, so she knows you, we're interviewing you.
Mhm.
So anything we didn't cover today that you think's important for your granddaughter in the future, or maybe some of her children might want to look back on and say, yeah, that was my grandpa.
That was old Pop.
He lived on a farm in Chester County. He went in
Yeah.
the Marines
What's
and
that song? I've been working in the army, working on the farm. All I got to say for it is muscle in my arm.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah. No, I think we're pretty well custom. You know, the bases.
All we can say is, hoorah.
Hoorah. Okay. Miss Debbie, you got anything you want to add?